Hi. We are. Hi. All right. So we are in the middle of testing still, just so you all know. And I have ninth graders coming in today. I'm gonna make one of you all the host. So, because I have to go back into the test administration. If that's okay with everybody. Can y'all hear me okay? I don't hear you all. Can y'all talk?
I just caught the tail end of it.
All right, so I'm currently testing. And so what I'm gonna do is, the students, hopefully they get in here. I'm gonna make one of you all the host. And I'm gonna step back and go back into the testing room. But it looks like we have Evie, Riley, and some of the other students. I did not know we had like an AP test, so some of them are coming. So it's gonna be a slow trickle in here. So here we go. Do you know how to control it? Who wants to control the Zoom? Because I'm gonna step out and I have to, and I'll be gone.
I can do that if you want to make me.
Gonna make you the host.
And we're going to have all three teams.
Yes, so you have Riley's team here. Evie's a separate team. Zelina and Mia are on the same. Well, Zelina, Mia, and Riley are on the same team. Evie is a different team. And we can, are you guys, it's recording, so we'll have this recorded and I can edit it to the feed so that I'll share with everyone else. And I had, I'll send an email. Let me send that now.
So the three teams that you sent us the presentations for are the three.
Yes.
And then we've
So
got.
You have two representatives right now.
Okay. And then we've got until 2:20. Is that right?
Yes, and I'm going to email these other ones right now. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So maybe let's try and have them present for 10 minutes each. And then the rest of the time is response. I just was making random questions when I was looking over them last night. So I just emailed that to you guys. Take it or leave it. They're very rough notes.
So Zelina, Mia, Evie, and Riley, thank you all for coming. I know I didn't ask you to present. Oh, I didn't ask you to present, Evie? Okay. So I've got one team here apparently. I'm gonna see who the other team is, all right? Great, so you can start with this team and then I'm gonna see who else from the others I can bring in.
Yeah, some of the other students are in Mr. Thomas' class for AP Hugh. So that's why I was like a little,
All right,
we didn't know which one to go to.
okay. You know,
Zelina, are you Gizmos, North Cyprus, or with?
Looks like,
oh, you're with Julia, Mia. Okay.
all right. Well, why don't I share my screen since I've got all three presentations pulled up. You guys, also the jury could be writing notes in for yourselves and questions into the chat as the presenters are speaking. That way we can have a record of your questions and comments too.
So should we have them, Andy, present for 10 minutes and then we can respond?
Yeah, actually, probably 6 to 8 minutes.
Okay.
Sounds good.
And we've got Zelina, Mia, and is Julia here too? Or-
Julia's more than likely in the AP.
Oh, yeah, Riley. Okay. So Zelina and Riley.
And then some of them might be double tasking right now, just letting you know.
Okay, right on, right on. Okay, so we're going to give you guys 6 to 8 minutes to present as a group here. And just remember, we want to understand your project in entirety so far, and probably some of your ideas for next steps as you move forward. Do make clear your problem statement and how you've responded to that problem statement and how all that is backed up by your research. And we can turn it over to you guys.
Yeah, and then let me say that the planning team is here to help and to give you ideas. So don't think that this is judge and jury. Just hopefully it'll be a conversation and we can give you good input. Looks like we've still got a few students coming in. So Riley or Mia, would you guys want to kick us off and then say a few words about your project?
Riley, can you go ahead and present, please? You just have to rate your slide, basically.
Okay, yeah. So
Just
our
tell me when to advance.
okay. Our slides. This is our map plot of the Cypress Creek area. You can go ahead. So these are the environmental aspects of it. So flooding, so there are several ways that flooding can affect Cypress Creek. Flooding can affect Cypress Creek by damaging nearby housing or residents. Flooding can also affect Cypress Creek through the drowning of animals who live on land nearby or simply destroy their habitats. This will cause the animals to migrate or move to new areas, which will affect the balance of the food chain in many ways. Many animals will not be able to thrive, and surviving chances will decrease. So another problem is water pollution. Water pollution would have many effects on Cypress Creek. Water pollution is known to affect aquatic life, which alters food chains. Water pollution also brings the introduction of new nutrients, which cause the growth of plants and algae. The result of this is reduced oxygen levels in the water. Because Cypress Creek has aquatic life and a water system, these effects will all apply without a doubt. Waste management. Cypress Creek has a waste management site, so that means they will pick up trash weekly, and so trash does not pile up. But this could also be bad because some of the trash that they may have been collected could have fell into the creek and contributed to the pollution issue. Mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are a huge problem in Cypress Creek and anywhere they go. They spread disease, not to mention the fact that they are really annoying and itchy. They can wreak havoc on cities near standing water, and they were the root cause of the yellow fever epidemic that nearly wiped Memphis off the map. Water systems. This is Cypress Creek Pumping Station. This station moves a lot of water. This station keeps flooding from happening. Urban systems. Sidewalks. Each street corner has a slope for bike riders or people in wheelchairs to cross the roads more safely. Around crosstown, the sidewalks are wider for groups of people in small vehicles. Schools. School access is very close to the area of Cypress Creek, so kids can get an education. Most of the students at the school are Black because of the area. This could lead to a type of racism where the school is low quality and they don't get great teachers. Major streets. The black lines are major streets. These can contribute to the issue of Cypress Creek because the car pollution could affect the creek by adding smog to the creek. Air pollution. Cypress Creek has always had issues with the air pollution, and it was really difficult to tell from the images. You can't really see air pollution clearly, just the gases. Several chemical companies dispose of waste in Cypress Creek in North Memphis. Cyanide pesticides accumulated in the sediment of the creek, but the cyanide pesticide pollution has already been cleaned up. Transit. In the area of Cypress Creek, there is access to a bike lane to get places. This might not always work because a lot of times people who live in the area don't have a bike. But if they do, they can get to other places in the city.
Where we identify water system, identification, apply network. Water system
Great. Are you guys sharing the presentation or are you
Oh,
still working?
what?
Is someone else doing this section?
No, I don't think so. Okay. So this is our problem statement. There are
A lot of pictures, trash, drains,
Riley, you gonna wrap the slide deck up, or are you waiting on?
okay. There are a lot of problems in Cypress Creek area ranging from schools and streets to air pollution, water pollution, and transit. The flooding can affect any of these variables and make it overwhelmingly difficult to live there. And here's one of our solutions. The first way to combat water pollution is to install a SolarBee solar power mixer. These are used to improve water quality through mixing the water to keep it moving. This could be used at the lake by Cypress Creek. Okay, I think that's it.
Great. I'm just going to go through these real quick so everybody can see them. So this was your case study, right? And then your background information. All right. I'm gonna zoom out so our jury can kind of jump from slide to slide as our questions come up and comments. Anybody have any thoughts, general thoughts first, before we get into specifics?
Hey, really, I think you did a really great job presenting. Thanks for doing that for all of us. I really liked how you guys looked at it holistically and really tried to pull from different aspects of like the environment and the people-oriented development. I thought that was really great.
Y'all did a really great job on the PowerPoint as well. It looks honestly really professional. Looks really good. I guess a question I had would be, we try to ask this whenever we're doing these studies or, you know, trying to come up with a solution for the area, but like ultimately, who do you think this is designed for?
Like designed for maybe like the city to put it in place.
Yeah, or what are the demographics that would be benefiting from this site?
I think it would like help clean up the area and have just like more population.
Yeah, so if you like clean up the area, maybe bring in some businesses that could attract more people to want to live in the area for sure.
Yeah, and you guys did a good job on gathering your demographic data and trying to find out more about the people who live there. I know Julia probably did this section, but I don't know if you guys shared the information
Yeah.
between each other. But you know, think about who the actual people are that live there, who you know, are experiencing this neighborhood on a daily basis, and how you can make their lives better with your solutions.
Yeah, so guys and the other folks from the other teams that are present, restating that in when you're presenting is often a good idea. So stating who you're designing for, who's there currently, and showing a snapshot of who's there currently. I think you did that well with your maps. You did a wonderful job of showing the environmental issues, but just make sure you're restating what Brad just asked about. That was a good question by Brad.
Yeah, and just remember that in all of the information gathering that we were doing early on, you're telling a story about the place and about the people that live in the place. And you know, that story should impact the decisions that you guys make as a team and as planners. So, you know, telling that story up front as part of your presentation helps those who are reviewing your recommendations to see if they're appropriate and see how they're going to help the people, right?
I like what you did talking about the sidewalk because in that slide you put the picture of the Google Earth and you describe for who this feature is made for, who use the sidewalk and how they use it. So it can give a clear idea of how the area is designed, and it can help you a lot to address what are the small problems that you can solve with your design.
So can I ask Riley and anyone else who's present from the team, in terms of where you're thinking about finding a smaller portion of the area to do a design?
Well, I think because it was focused on like the lake and like our solution was from the lake, like used for the lake, I think it would be more closer into the lake, like in that general area.
Are you thinking north, south, east, west, any portion, any section
If
of
it would
that?
be possible, we would like want to put multiple of those in, so it like increases just the chance of making it cleaner.
Okay, with the solar bees. Okay.
Yeah.
That's and I think Delia brought up a good point. With the roadways, you guys focused on many aspects of them, and then you're also focusing on the lake. So oftentimes when we design, we think of things in relation to the human body or in relation to other types of natural functions. So you could think of the lake as the heart, and the bodies of water as the organs, and the streets as the skeleton, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the streets are kind of a network, and if you can understand my analogy there, that gets you thinking about relationships.
Yeah, that's somewhat of a biomimicry on a larger scale, right? And another big word that we use, at least in architecture, is anthropomorphism, which is relating to the human body in your designs. And you see that with like columns on historic buildings that are shaped like people, or like sphinxes, or animals, or whatever. But I really like your map is alluding to the land use exercises that we did early on, where you're starting to identify different uses with different colors. And you guys might point out some of the features that you found in your in your documentation, like the waste management. You might point that out, where it's located, and label it, to tie back some of your issues to your map.
And I would suggest choosing, maybe starting at least with one section of lake frontage, and really making the case for why that section of lake frontage matters to you, and what are the elements. So Riley and others from the group, if you were to choose one section of lake frontage here, based on this map, what chunk might you choose?
I think maybe like the southern area, because it's closer to the neighborhoods of Cypress Creek, so it would maybe improve it a little more faster than if we did it to the north.
Right. And that's where the action is, right? That's and what signifies the action that's present?
Well, like the roads, the houses, that water plant.
Makes sense. How about the land use? What is the land use on the south? Is that helpful for your design?
Yeah.
How so? You can guess, it's fine. There's no right answer.
It'll be helpful because it might look more nice when people want to come in to maybe make businesses there or live there.
Right. So you've got yellow and orange, yellow and purple, right?
Yeah.
And some green. So you want to really show off how those work together in a busy area to bring more to your development, right?
Mm-hmm.
So having the mix of purple and and green open space, commercial and neighborhoods, right? That's a bunch of uses in one place, which is generally good. So.
And you mentioned transit and bus routes, and you had a picture. That picture was somewhere in here, right?
Yeah.
So did you look at where buses go in the area? There's only certain streets that they go.
Yeah, I think it was mainly it's mainly the like main roads that just like go through to different parts of the city. Yeah.
Yeah, and you might think of a hierarchy in roads. You know, you guys marked a lot of different streets with your black pin on that other map. But these major roads are a different hierarchy, a different a higher traffic count and faster speeds than some of these other roads that are a different character, right?
Mhm.
These are called local roads, and then there's collectors, and so there's different types of streets and a hierarchy of streets.
I just wanted to make sure Alex or Susie or Brad or Delia, if you have any more questions too.
One thing I wanted to add, I like the idea of the solar bees to clean up the lake. I think that it's an immediate intervention that can, you know, have an impact as soon as they're placed. One thing I would like to see is maybe a study from another area where these have been used and what kind of impacts they have over the long term, short term. Just something to kind of bolster the case for this being the, you know, the main intervention that you use, and how it actually affected the people, the animals that are there, things like that. Just something to show that this is effective and that it actually works over the long term.
And Riley, I think that's a great suggestion by Alex. I would check out the Raleigh-Durham Chapel Hill area. They have a big reservoir, and they're actually using these in the reservoir between those cities. And there's some pros and cons to it for sure. So that might be a good place to start. And since we're on the solutions slide here, make sure when you present and your final poster and everything that you're linking the need for the solution back to maybe some of those policy maps or a bullet point from one of your environmental slides, just to remind people so you're redundant in your argument to your audience. So what do you think's the next step, Riley? How could you, in designing your site, what would be your next step?
I think like you said, like researching other places where they use these and then see where that goes, and then plan where to use them, like on the lake.
Mm-hmm. And how do you think you can link the solar bee to your development on the side of the lake? Yes, it'll create cleaner water, but if these air and water pollution is kind of a big systematic issue, how can a tool like a solar bee, how can the idea behind it be incorporated into the rest of the site? So you're not just putting a product on the lake, you're having a more systematic approach. Any guesses or thoughts there?
It's kind of like the Crosstown neighborhood. How like when Crosstown opened, a lot of things flourished. So that's kind of what I'm thinking with this.
That's definitely, you need that anchor. So is the solar bee going to pop and market the area as much as the huge Crosstown building?
I think it will, in a way, help it like get off the ground.
Yeah, I think you're right. You may need a little more because can you see the lake from the road very easily?
No, yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
So you know, Crosstown think of Crosstown and think of all the variables it has. So it has the nice kind of splash park. It has cool signage. It has cool plantings. It has various types of housing and work and business. So maybe on your south side of the lake, you can add some green housing and development there that relates to the Solar Bee, right? But shows it off right in the money spot where it's all happening on the big road as well. So it's kind of a big icon, kind of like that mural, that mobile mural wall is always pops in the, the courtyard, you know. It's about, and there's art inside the building. So what they're doing there is what do you think they're doing there? They got a big mural wall outside, but there's a lot more art inside. What's the purpose?
They're trying to draw people in.
Exactly. Oftentimes we draw people in not only from big streets, but from corners as well. So maybe the heart of your site is the lake and the Solar Bee, and that's what you're passionate about. But think of what you could use to draw people in and create a journey from that corner into the Solar Bee heart. I think would be a nice tactic.
Well, you guys, your team did a great job. Is there, let's give them a round of applause.
All right.
All right. So is there another team that is online that can share with us, one of the other two teams?
So Team Gizmo is here. Jonjolyn, she's kind of double working, but I think she's able to talk. So Jonjolyn, will this mess you up?
No, ma'am.
Okay, great. So Jonjolyn's from Team Gizmos.
There we go. So I'm gonna start us from the beginning here.
And remember, Jocelyn, about 6 to 8 minutes. What's the problem? What's the issue? What's the vision? What were the issues and opportunities that lead to the problem statement and the vision? And who in the world are you designing for? But I'll let you take it away in about 6 to 8 minutes.
And what does the gizmos mean?
It was a name for my first project. It was the name of the website we were working on, and we thought it was a cool name, so we took the Gizmos. The first map is just where we identify water systems, pollutions, desertification, blight, land use, and street network. And the next couple of slides, we just break down what we thought they mean when we saw them. Water system is a supply or network. It's engineered hydraulic components that provides water supply. For example, drinking water systems, sediment filtration systems, and carbon filtration. The increasing amounts of pollution in Memphis has become alarming. In the bottom picture, you can see that this trash is from storm drains by the Mississippi River. And the picture on top comes from factories in North Memphis area that pollutes the air. Desertification is the process in which thriving lands becomes unfertile. This is usually through poor irrigation practices, deforestation, or overgrazing. And on the map, you can see that Memphis is between a low and high range of desertification. In the Cypress Creek area, blight encompasses vacant lots, abandoned buildings and houses in dangerous shape, as well as environmental contamination with overgrown lawns, uncollected litter, inadequate street lighting, and other signs of neglect. Most of the land is occupied but not in use. There isn't much to look at outside of homes, schools, and stores, just plots of land with empty rundown buildings and concrete slabs where something used to be. Street networks let people connect to each other as well as destinations. They also help build the community and let everything move around. Without street networks, a lot of things would not be possible in communities. Demographics. When researching our demographics, we learned that on average, a North Memphian makes little over half of what the average Memphian makes. Also in this area, there are more people living in single-family homes compared to the rest of the Memphis area. North Cypress Creek also has the highest concentration of the Black population in Memphis. In our case study, it was just a study where there was an investigation in Illinois where underground water had gasoline smells and chemicals was found in the drinking water system. This is our map from the Jamboard analysis, and we located the issues. We located the water and vacant land to utilize, and also where we think affordable housing should be placed. We're focusing on vacancy, blight, and pollution. We are also designing for low-income households in areas of high poverty where there are more pollutants in the air and water, focusing on the Cypress Creek area. Putting it together. A solution that could work for the Cypress Creek community is cleaning the lots, planting new grass and trees, also creating simple post and rail wood fences around abandoned perimeters, remedying urban blight through simple and lowest cost measures such as vacant lot grading may reduce toxic stress and ultimately make residents healthier, leaving the land more attractive. Our solution from the last quarter, which was a air pollutant bicycle, it would not work for this project because it was designed for high intense air quality measures, but in the 301 area code, the air quality averaged 35 to 44. In our rebuild of the map, we're focusing on blight, pollution, and vacancy. You can see where we redesigned most of the right corner. It looks vacant on the map, which it is. We implemented 3 schools, elementary, middle, and high, a community center, a park, more commercial areas in the neighborhood, such as gas stations and a shopping center. We also created a recycle center just behind a factory, which will help with pollution in the area. And we also have school, residential housing, which is like low income Section 8 housing for kids and families who attend those schools there. So, and we also have a community garden running next to the creek. That's it.
Great. I'm going to leave this slide up. I think that's the last one for comments and questions.
I like how you put the school residential area, the yellow, next to the natural landscape. I think that's a really cool and good use of the land.
Yeah, I like that you guys highlighted blight as one of the main issues you wanted to tackle. I think it's one thing that can usually be remedied pretty easily. It's just cleaning up properties, and the solutions that you guys were implementing were pretty low cost and achievable. I think the next step for me, I think, would be to kind of highlight some areas that may be the main focus, and then looking for community programs or maybe individuals that have already gotten some of these programs off the ground. And that way you're able to hit the ground running when we're actually looking to implement something like this.
That's a great suggestion by Alex. Looking into those affordable housing programs and nonprofits and government agencies that are already out there. If you wanted to move forward with developing something like this, that'd be a great place to start and get your name heard among internship possibilities for the future.
Yeah, I like how you guys connected all of your focused solutions on the findings of what you found in the area. You found a lot of vacancy and blight and pollution and some low income population in your demographics. So all the things that you were addressing in your solutions really come directly from your findings, you know, in the area. But what I was trying to understand is where this came in, as far as is that much of an issue in the area?
Well, we don't think it's an issue in that area, but more such as how could desertification relate to blight? And on the assignment, we had to see what fit best with the map and how we thought that it could benefit the community. And on the map, it's next to a lake, which looks like the land has been stripped and there's no grass, it's just like dirt area, the red section. That's right there. That's where we chose desertification.
I think you just did a great job of taking a nation or global issue, and when Andy asked you about it, you took that issue and you took the nationwide map and you related it to a small part on a small scale. And we talked a bit about scale and jumping scales in this class, and that makes me happy to see you execute your response like that. That's good. Do you know how you would tackle desertification on that red area? What actions or design would you take there?
At the moment, we don't really know because we don't know who owns the land and how fertile is the soil to replant things and regrow crops or either trees or grass. So that's something that I add on my list to look into. Thank you.
That's, again, a great answer. That gets to what all of us do day to day is, we not only do this type of mapping, but we have to go out and talk to landowners and figure out who owns things and then go test the soil. So very good.
I want to say something similar. First of all, compliments for the presentation. I like the design that you use. It's very clear and very nice. And I want to say something about the demographics. I like the fact that you did the analysis or the analysis on the area that you are studying, but also you compare you compare those data with the entire city. So this gives you a more clear idea on which are the main issues, and it will help you in state your problems, because you can stress the idea that in this area, this topic, this issue is more strong than somewhere else or than the entire city.
Yeah, that's a great point. We talk about data collection versus data analysis, and what Delia is pointing out is that you guys took the extra step and analyzed the data and what did it mean? What's your story behind the data? So you analyzed and made assumptions about it.
And on you did a good job of doing what Andy and Delia just talked about on the local scale as well. Do you know what slide you showed that on fairly well in terms of choosing your site? So
I
you,
can't remember the slide exactly, but I'm looking right now.
yeah, so I think it's the other direction for Andy's screen here. But, you know, banks want to fund projects, and sometimes multiple projects show up, and a bank, if they're going to lend you money, is going to want to know exactly why Cypress Creek area and not Westwood or not Germantown, right? So you're making a case for this specific area, and your class exercise with the red, blue, and green, you showed that in your presentation. And I know it's simple and it may not feel like you did a lot of work outside of class to show that, but it keeps us from having to ask questions. If a bank is going to lend you money, you have visually showed them on one piece of paper why and where. So that is a good portion of your work as well. And you're redundant. You have the demographics and that exercise to show for it.
One thing that we're all pretty familiar with the site, but what might be helpful in your next version is to have one of these maps as a before map zoomed in to this area. So you can either have them side by side, sort of before and after, or one slide after another, so they can see your where your intervention is and what you're changing from what's there now.
So next steps, if you wanted to make a Minecraft model, maybe we can look at the yellow slide there. What portion of your last slide here would you use to show what's happening in your design? What would be the best money spot to show if you're going to build a model out of a small portion of this?
I'll say the best spot would be the school residential and school zone area, because it shows how, well, I feel like this is the most effective way to use vacant lots, because this area, they have schools, but they're like they're high risk schools, which means that they're not getting the adequate funding. And new schools in the area will allow new opportunities for students to get better educations.
I like what you said there. You chose two elements and you chose to illustrate two elements that are next to each other. So that means they relate to each other, right? You purposefully put one next to the other. And future design that you may do in Minecraft, if you have the time, is going to illustrate that relationship, right? And that's how does that relationship solve the issues that you presented to us environmentally and socially? You've kind of answered some of that already, but with how the schools are in the neighborhood. But you have the opportunity here to really show what a school zone is. And you mentioned Section 8 housing and a gas station. If I'm a bank or someone in the community, is Section 8 housing and a gas station going to sell me on it?
Okay, now as I think about it, you may have a point. So instead of a gas station, I would like to see more, retail areas in there, but gas station, I can see we can rearrange that with something else, as in extending the shopping center, or use it as public land such as a library, maybe.
Yeah, and a little trick that a lot of planners use is they call it commercial mixed use, right? And that alludes to a nice walkable mix of local shops and places where people can go and get a lot of things done in one trip.
And I think you have another trick at your disposal here too. Nothing wrong with Section 8. In theory, it can set some folks off who may raise a big stink, but you have the opportunity here to define what Section 8 is, or affordable housing is, or what the title is in your work. So you can transform traditional Section 8 housing into something that serves the people it serves in a way more effective manner, and that doesn't have stigma with it, right? Or a gas station. You can change up the definition of what a gas station is. And mixing uses is important, but if you look at research too with solving poverty, giving different types of people the opportunity to live around and near and with other different types of people, right? So things to think about.
Yeah, so some of those terms, you could talk about workforce housing, or you could talk about moderate income housing. So those are some other words for a Section 8 program that has some type of stigma in the past.
A good case study for that might be Uptown. Some public housing used to reside there, and now it's single family and multifamily. And there were some successes and not some successes with redeveloping that area to what it is today across from St. Jude. So that might interest you. So in a design, you could show what the school zone is and draw a bit of a building on that side, then the street, and then a building in the yellow neighborhood side as well, just to show us the relationship. Or you can model that in Minecraft as well. So.
Well, we're just about out of time, but one more little comment and question: is the creek shown in a flooding condition, or is this not a flooding condition? Can you answer that one?
It's not a flooding condition.
So if you did have flooding, which you guys mentioned as an issue, where do you think the banks of the water would be? How far would it overflow? So you might look at flood maps, and sometimes it's not just a straight line. Sometimes it's the topography makes it meander some in the floodplain. So you may think about where your land uses are in relationship to that floodplain. But you guys did a great job. And another kudos, round of applause for this team. Good job.
Definitely. Any questions from any team? Or wishes or thoughts?
Well, we're looking forward to your exhibit and your final version, taking the next step.
I did notice we were not able to get to you, Desaria, or you, Jarvis. And I guess Nikki may not be on here, but let Nikki know, and I will let Nikki know too, that I at least am happy to give you this type of presentation opportunity as well. I can talk with you guys at another point, or whenever there is time in the next few days or whatever. We can set it up with Nikki if need be. But online and everything, time gets to running. So sorry.
Well, great. Thank you, guys. It's been fun. Looks like you have learned a lot. We've learned a lot this semester. Great. Thanks, jury team. While we're still on, you guys did a great job on summarizing our information, and looks like everyone contributed to that because you all had different people posting to the OneDrive. So great job.
Yeah.
I don't know if I shared the final version of the paper with you guys, but we'll do that as well. I'll post it in that final folder.
And I'd love to hear back from you guys too, if you have any thoughts or concerns or critiques too. I'm all ears. I want to become a better teacher as well. So definitely let me know. Give me a ring, whatever. Email.
Well, great. I think we're still recording here, but Nikki's got control of that. So, great semester, you guys, and we're looking forward to hopefully circling back and working together in the future.
Yeah, I really appreciate the work you guys put in and the patience with the format that we were dealing with of many layers, from COVID to online to generating a new program and course for the school. I really appreciate students who really jump in for the first iterations of a new thing that hopefully will be going on much longer into the future. Good work, all of you guys.
Yes, thank y'all.
Have a good
Thank
one.
you, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.